Hey Dan, how are ya? Yeah, good. I'm just gonna go to the ice cream shop. Do you want me to get you something? I know your two favorites are chocolate and cookies and cream. Wait, what do you mean chocolate is more tastier? That doesn't make sense. It sounds like you need to learn about the rules of comparatives. All right, fine. I'll get you chocolate. Okay, well, guess what we are learning about today? We are learning about the rules of comparatives. What does this mean? It is about comparative adjectives. These are adjectives that we use to compare two things to each other. So, for example, big and bigger. So what we do is we add er to the end of the adjective to suggest that one thing is bigger than the other. So for example, the elephant is bigger than the mouse. Okay, so the rule is that you add er at the end of the adjective, and this makes it a comparative adjective because you're immediately comparing two things to each other. So some examples are smaller, nicer, taller, shorter, stronger, and so forth. Now, if the adjective ends with a y, such as easy, E-A-S-Y, in order to turn this into a comparative adjective, we remove the y and we add I-E-R instead. So it's the same sound, easier, busier, prettier, heavier, funnier, and so forth. A common misconception that students have when it comes to the rule of comparatives is that they use the word more and the comparative adjective in the same sentence. So for example, lions are more stronger than bears. Now this doesn't make sense, just like more tastier didn't make sense on the phone either. And that is because by adding er to the adjective, you're already suggesting it is more of that adjective. So instead of saying more strong, we say stronger. Instead of saying more nice, we say nicer. But it doesn't make sense to have the word more and the comparative adjective in the one sentence. Okay, so the correct option here would be simply saying that lions are stronger than bears. I am curious to know how many of you sometimes use the word more and the comparative adjective in the one sentence. I have to say, I'm sometimes guilty of this myself. Okay, I learned English as a second language, and this is something that from time to time I do myself. However, I'm able to identify I've done that and correct myself the moment it comes out of my mouth. So the goal is that you are able to identify this yourself when you say it, and you're able to identify in your writing as well. So if you look at the success criteria, we've identified what the word comparative means. We've listed examples of the rules. We've compared two sentences, one which is a misconception and one which is correct. And now your task is to show your understanding or evaluate your understanding by creating your own misconception sentences and your own correct sentences, just like we did in this example. Okay, so I might ask that you do 3 of each. Now, before you go off and doing that, I do want to go back to this image, how it's saying that when there are 2 or more syllables in a word, we actually don't add er and we use the word more. So beautiful, beautiful has 3 syllables, And we don't say beautifuler, we say more beautiful. Dangerous, we don't say dangerous-er, we say more dangerous. We don't say intelligenter, we say more intelligent. So this is the only time you would actually use the word more in front of an adjective instead of adding er to the end of the adjective. Okay, awesome. So see how you guys go with this. And as usual, once you have completed this short task to show your understanding of the rule of comparatives, you need to complete a spelling inquiry where, like I've said before, you are allowed to only focus on the things that are interesting to you within the spelling inquiry and things that are going to actually help you understand a word better, and they're going to help you use this word in your own writing. If you think of the spelling inquiry as a checklist and you just go tick, 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 I've done that, it's completely useless and it's pointless because it's not deep. Okay, so I'd rather you spend more time on certain parts of the spelling inquiry because they really interest you and you take part in some deep learning rather than just some surface ticking of the different boxes. Okay, so I really hope I see that in your learning submissions for this session.